So, Raylan, why are you interested in this job?
I really like Korean culture and I've worked with young Korean students and I valued the time I spent with them and I'd like to expand on what I learned from the students and give more back to them. So this job in Korea would be a great fit for both me and the students.
Okay. Tell us about your TESOL certificate program. It says here you followed the SIOP model. I need you to explain three key points of this model that have influenced your teaching.
Sure, so I got my TESOL certificate at Western Washington University. So it is an accredited TESOL certificate, and I had a lot of experience working in the classroom with various language learners from different countries and different levels and age groups. Um, in terms of the COP model, we used it during our student teaching and we learned about it throughout the program. And I think the three key features that have influenced my teaching would be realia, drawing on students' background knowledge and allowing them to use their L1 to clarify problems, and then also making lessons more comprehensible and hands-on and not just lecturing at students.
So, can you explain how do you integrate Relia and/or technology into your lessons?
So during my practicum, my lessons were solely based on realia, and I used a lot of hand-on objects. I did learning stations, and each learning station had something that the kids could both. It's fine.
Okay.
The kids could both read, write, listen, and speak, and use their hands, and they were standing, so they weren't sitting. So my lessons are almost entirely based on realia and using manipulative objects rather than lecturing at students.
Okay.
Because I would like to teach young students.
Is your recording still going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pick a random one.
What is the most challenging behavioral situation you have ever dealt with in the classroom, and how did you react?
So I've dealt with multiple different behavioral issues both in a classroom and in a less classroom environment but still English based. The first would be in China. I dealt with two instances where children were being physically abusive and then children were also being physically abused by adults, and it affected the way that they could interact with other kids and participate. So with that, we did our best to meet their personal needs and also meet the needs of everyone else in the class. So sometimes that meant taking them out, and sometimes it meant tailoring the lessons to that specific child in a way that could enhance everybody else's learning. And at times we just had to send the children away to people higher up. And the second difficult situation would be a similar instance. There was a child that did not want to participate, would fall asleep, and was not nice to other kids in the class. So we had to sometimes take her out of the class and sometimes just let her do what she needed to do. But eventually we learned what she was good at and what she wasn't, so we would tailor the lessons to that.
Good. How do you assess students and give them meaningful feedback?
So when I assess students, I typically like to do it in a relaxed environment. They don't know it's a test. It's more of me seeing how they speak with me and how they write, and I prefer to just watch how they do that during any activity I might give them rather than a formal exam. And to give feedback, I might do it one-on-one with the student and just give them tips and pointers how they can improve next time and give them opportunities to improve.
Okay. Describe one of your typical 4 skills integrated lessons for beginning level adults. You can choose immigrant or international students.
Yeah.
Read it again.
Yeah.
Describe one of your typical 4 skills integrated lessons for beginning level adults. You can choose immigrant or international students.
Okay. So I have not actually taught adults very often, but for lesson planning and delivery, I like to work more with speaking and listening since adults typically don't need to do academic work like children do. So for that, I would focus on those two skills, and I might have them do role play activities, close activities, information gap activities to get them talking to other people in the class and make it more real world rather than academic based, since they don't need that necessarily.
Okay. We're good?
Yeah, that's all the questions.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought we had one more.